Hey everyone, today we are going to start a new project based on an artist named Dine. So Dine makes hearts like this one. And you'll see that it has a colorful background, and then he just uses black to sort of outline his heart and make various markings around it and shading on the curves. So we're going to be doing something similar to this, but with chalks and markers and some water and foil. Now, remember, you can use whatever you have at home. So if you don't have these items, you can use crayons, you could use markers. And if you have markers and you're going to do the foil step of this, but you don't have chalks, you could simply use anything that's black, like a black crayon, colored pencil, marker. As long as it's black, you're good. So I'm going to put these to the side because we don't need them yet. And what we're first going to do is going to have to do with this foil. So I've just got a piece of aluminum foil and I've got regular markers, and I'm going to take the different colors and I'm going to color my marker using those different colors. And it doesn't matter how you color this. You're not doing a picture, you're literally just doing small areas of color. And I'm using the side of my marker, that way I can color a big amount of space pretty quickly. Because if I use the tip, it would look quite thin, okay? If there's certain colors you want to use, you can stick with those. I'm just gonna go with all of them. Getting there. Now, when you're done, you'll need some sort of spray bottle that you can place water in. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take our spray bottle and we're just gonna spray the foil. Because we've colored on foil, your marker cannot soak into it like it would if you colored on paper. So the ink kind of just lays on top of the foil. So when we add water to it, it's gonna sort of make our marker turn into like a watercolor. So I'm gonna spray, and then once it looks nice and wet, I'm gonna take my paper and I'm gonna place it on top. And I'm going to rub around because I wanna make sure that my paper makes good contact with all of the ink. And then I'm going to lift it up. And all of that color will have transferred onto my paper. So I'm gonna let this dry and then we will talk about our next step. All right, so I got too impatient to wait for the other one to dry to show you what's next. So I took a piece that I had made for another project that I had lying around. So what we're gonna do now is use chalk pastels, and I'm gonna take black. Now, if you don't have chalk, remember you can use Sharpie, you could use a marker, a crayon for this part. You just want something dark that is going to stand out so our bright colors pop and our heart is really noticeable, okay, just like Dine's. So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna start with a heart shape. So I'm just gonna draw. Now, if you wanted to draw your heart shape with your pencil first, that's totally fine. I'm just gonna go for it with the chalk. So I want my heart to take up most of my paper. So it should be nice and big. And from here, guys, all I'm gonna do is start to shade it a little thicker. So I'm sort of using like the flat edge of my chalk to make a thicker line, kind of like when you color with the side of a marker. Now whenever I get dust, I'm just going to tap it off, and then I'm just going to start to make some shading. I'm going to just shade on the edges of my paper. And just a little bit on the inside, because we can see in Jim Dine's, he extends that dark just into little splatters on his actual colorful piece. That is sort of the background for his heart. And now, if you have ever used chalks with me in class, you know that I love chalks because of their blending powers. They blend just so wonderfully when used correctly. And so we're going to blend some of this. Not a ton, but we are going to push out some of that chalk dust. All right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use, you are gonna get messy if you are using chalk. So I'm gonna use my finger now, and all I'm gonna do is take from this thick line, and I'm just gonna smear it up. So I'm just pushing that chalk now, up and away. And I'm not going to do that everywhere, just where I want it to look a little bolder. I'm just going to smooth some of this. All right, my friends. And we've got it done. I can't wait to see yours, guys. I'm so excited. So don't forget, before you touch your couch or anything at home, if you're using chalk, wash your hands. Thank you, guys.